it's apparent that we are live, and we are right here in this absolutely beautiful building. And I'm going to let these handsome gentlemen introduce themselves while I call us up on my monitor phone. Tell me who you are and what we're doing here.
Well, I'm Barry Barker. I'm the Executive Director of the Transit Authority of River City.
Also known as Tarc.
Also known as Tarc. And what we're hoping will result out of this is we'll have a flock of people coming here who want to drive buses.
Boy, I hope that's the truth. I think that would be an awesome way to do it.
It's a great job.
Yeah, okay. Barry Barker, of course, everybody knows. How long have you been here?
It's coming up on 24 years.
Yeah, it's been forever.
September 24th will be 24 years.
You don't look a day over 30.
30,000 maybe.
Sir.
Yes.
Introduce yourself, please, and tell us why you're here.
I am Ferdinand Risco.
And you've got a great voice, too.
Well, thank you very much.
I want to hear him say his name over and over again. Ferdinand Risco.
I am the Assistant Executive Director, and I am responsible to help Mr. Barker run the operation.
Well, that's a tough job.
Yes.
The thing that I want to call to everyone's attention first is the beauty of this incredible building. This was the original Union Station, which I assume was for railroad use. And when did it transition over to Tarc?
1974.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Actually, it was built in 1898 was when it opened for operations.
Oh my gosh,
so it's
that's
got a
amazing.
few years on it. And we view that we hold this building in a public trust, so we take care of it, treat it with kid gloves. And
there's some construction going on here too.
Yeah,
what are you
doing? Got a new heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system going in.
Well, that's nice. We like to breathe, right?
Well, it'll cut our utilities in this building by about 70%.
That's helpful.
Yes.
That's going to be really good. So who's doing the installation work? Is it somebody that you know and love and trust?
Oh, and they've been vetted and gone through all kinds of bid processes.
That's
that
fantastic.
The feds, state, and local require us to do.
Wow, that's
Under
amazing.
direction of the State Historical Preservation Office as well.
Oh yeah, well that makes sense that you would have to stay in line with everything that's going on out, through this entire building. I've got an historic building in Crescent Hill that I see all kinds of work being done to, and it's on the National Historic Register. Is this one as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So everything is kind of regulated. You have to make sure that what you do is not going to interrupt the flow. That's the beauty. Okay, so let's talk. You need people to drive your buses.
Correct.
What are we going to do to get people here?
Well, we're instituting a number of things. We've just increased the starting wage, because what we realized is some people would have had to have left another job, get paid lower during the 6 weeks of training, and then to get back ahead of where they were. So we're just cutting that out, and the job starts at $16.73 an hour.
$17? That's not too shabby.
No, but they earn every penny.
Yeah, well, of course, driving a bus is tough. There's no question about it. What is the purpose of going on the air, literally, and saying we need more bus drivers? Why are you having trouble right now securing people to drive these buses?
I think it's an industry-wide problem. It is, and it's really about how do we as an industry tell our story? How do we get an opportunity to let everyone know that there are great opportunities in public transit, from the operators, as we're talking about today, on through all of the great things that we do, folks like Mr. Barker, and being able to lead agencies. But being operator is the front line of the business, and where we're directly involved with our customers, and we need to tell that story much better. And then let
Move
folks
that microphone up on your lapel just a little bit. It seems to have slipped. Just, here we go. Just squeeze it.
Okay.
There we go. You're kind of soft-spoken. So you're saying industry-wide. Is this a problem across the nation? Is it just in Kentucky, or how's that work?
It's a problem across the nation, but it's also a problem in the trucking industry and school buses.
Really?
Everything. Yeah, there are just simply not enough people who are coming out and expressing an interest.
Driving commercial license, right?
Right.
Yes.
So what is for example, what does a school bus driver get paid?
Oh, I couldn't tell you offhand, but it is not as much as what we pay.
No, I can imagine. And then truck drivers probably get paid considerably more, I would just guess. If they're working for a company.
I bet we're competitive with the trucking industry.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm just not familiar with those.
No, I'm not either.
How
but
hard is it
I
to
think
drive
if
a
you add
bus?
our benefits on top of it,
Oh, yeah.
we become much more competitive.
How hard is it to drive a
Well,
bus?
there's two phases to really driving a bus. One is, you're sitting and you're moving through traffic and you're a professional driver.
Yeah.
The other piece, you come up to a bus stop, you turn, you're now a customer service rep. And you've got to convey some empathy, some feeling for the people getting on and off the bus. And you also have to be able to control without being dictatorial or dominating. So it's interesting. We find, for example, that we'd much rather hire somebody for their people skills first, and then we can teach them how to drive. That's a whole lot easier than having a driver that you're trying to teach how to be nice
Personable.
to people. Personable, that's a good word.
Yeah, you have to be personable because it is all about customer service. You don't want to get on a bus and have somebody grumping at you.
Yeah.
I've ridden buses all my life. I used to ride when I lived in Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
I used to ride the bus in Portland and went to college in Portland and rode the bus from home to college. I've ridden Tarc a number of times, and over the years have spent really a great deal of time on the buses. And I love your bus drivers. And I just am sad to know that there's such a dearth of people who are ready and willing to jump on and do it.
Well, we don't just hire anybody.
Well, would you hire me?
So far.
Okay, good. So
far.
Personality is important.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
And we have some of the world's best personalities.
Well, let me just tell you that if you were to ask me about my driving, I think you'd have to vet me with all of my friends, because anyone who gets in a car with me grabs the handle above the window and holds on for dear life.
Well, that's exactly how you should ride a bus. So
Got to hold on to
you're
the
ahead of it
handrails.
right there.
Well, I want to just mention to some of our friends who are logging on, Jerry Bloom from WHAS Radio, thanks for watching. Amanda Heath, a friend of mine from down in Atlanta. Debbie Gober, Don Birch is watching. Janelle Fitzpatrick says, I ride Tarc to the Yum Center. Love it.
Thank you for your business.
Yeah, and she's from Southern Indiana.
Thank
So
you
that's
so
cool.
much.
Catherine
Keep telling
Hallahan.
all your friends.
Yes, do. Janelle, tell all your friends. Catherine Callahan is the director of the HSUS, Humane Society of the United States, here in Kentucky. So she's watching. So we'll just see people popping up as we go, and
Excellent.
and I'll speak to them, and they'll be able to share with us exactly what it is that they're thinking. And I know that what you're thinking, if you're watching right now, is how do I get hired to be a bus driver, and what's the process that you have to go through in order to be able to do that? Go ahead.
Sure. So
Frederick Whistler. I thought that Russell introduced me. It's Risco
Yes, ma'am.
as Whistler. Go ahead.
So it starts with the application. We ask you to come down and fill out an application with us. We're very excited that we're approaching a process to move to online applications very soon, so look forward to that. And then we just go through a background check. We look at driving record. That's very important to us.
Okay, that's where I would fail, Kim.
We have an interview so that we can talk about those good things like your personality.
Yes.
That gives the candidate an opportunity to show us their magnanimous personality.
There you go.
And then we have some federal requirements around testing for substances.
Oh, yeah.
Drug testing is very
Everybody's got to
important
do
to us.
that now.
Yes.
They're not naturally occurring.
Yes, exactly.
And so after drug testing and the background check, and hopefully we invite you to join the team.
That'd be fantastic. So what's the training process? Do you want to talk us through what we have to be able to do with one of those gigantic things?
Yeah.
How big is a bus, first of all?
It's 40 foot by 102 inches
102 inches, like wide?
wide.
Yes.
From side to
Yeah.
side?
Yeah.
Wow. And how tall is it?
Oh, I would guess. It's usually not what we think about, but I would suggest probably about 12 foot.
Yeah, I was going to say
10.
12.
So can
yeah,
buses
somewhere
go
in
under every underpass in this town, even the ones
Yes.
that say 11
Yes.
feet, 6
yeah, that's
inches?
that's why I was starting to back up on the 12, because
Yeah.
I think it will. We don't have any history of them bottoming or uppering out.
Uppering.
And our planning folks do a very good job of keeping us away from those.
Well, that's a very good thing.
Yes.
Do you so what do you literally have to do to get used to driving one of these things? Do you guys have like a road course, like those commercials that say do not try this at home, closed track professional
Well,
driver?
we do. We do a little bit of that. We certainly don't throw them behind the wheel and just sky them on out there.
Go for it.
But very quickly into it, they will be out there, 2 trainees to a driver, and a seasoned trainer, and they'll take turns driving the vehicle, and the ones observing what the other's doing with a little less stress and a little less tension, right? And then there's a person who's got to drive it. And at that point, they're certainly not picking passengers up, so they're only
empty bus.
Yes.
So it's a little.
That's what they do to school buses too.
It's a little less stressful.
Yeah.
But if you can imagine weaving a 40-foot long bus through the streets, it's a skill.
Have you driven one?
Yes.
How hard was it? He's not driving.
I have a deal.
Yeah.
The other people here don't manage.
And you don't drive.
I don't drive.
Have you driven one of the buses, Frederick?
I have not, and I'm going to keep my perfect safety record.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Kim, have you driven one of the buses? Oh my gosh, your human resources person has. Russell, your media person, he's just shaking his head. No.
Yeah, but
no.
Kim drove all of them like 3 feet.
That is true, and I was on a closed course.
She was on a closed course. Professional drivers only.
One of the things we are in the process of doing is getting a bus simulator.
That's cool. That's like UPS and the plane simulator.
Yeah, because see, the interesting thing is you want the drivers to be able to drive in all kinds of conditions.
Yes.
Now, you'd be crazy to send a brand new operator out there on a snowy day, but you also want them to know how to handle that snow. So
Absolutely.
you can set up a bus simulator to do that.
Oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. How would you actually do that? Put it in the garage and just have people come in and learn to drive?
There's any number of ways that you can do it. Some are simply tabletop and you've got sort of a wraparound, and others are literally get up in a cabinet.
Scale model.
And you have projectors all the way around you, including the side view mirrors.
Oh
that'll
my gosh.
give you all the simulated
Side view
images.
mirrors are very, very important.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they are.
My
yeah.
gosh. Okay, so Rick Larkins, thanks for watching. Francis Weinstock, recently retired doctor, is watching. Steve Sherrod says, I could drive for Tarc after my driving school bus and then working for Toby Tours and their motor coaches. He says he gets great pay at JCPS, but it has to be better than driving a school bus. Driving Tarc, in other words.
Oh, of course it is.
I
Because
I
you're not
think
dealing with screaming little kids all the time.
No, we're
dealing with
screaming
adults.
big kids.
Screaming big kids all the time.
Yeah.
So when you came to work here, Frederick, did you think that you were going to be in a position where you were going to be asking people to come and drive for Tarc, or did you just assume automatically? Of course, there are plenty of drivers. There are always people who want to drive a school bus or a Tarc bus.
No, I think that's a part of the job is to be able to recruit the best and brightest.
And is that your job? Are you in the recruitment end of this thing?
I am always an example of leadership, hopefully.
He's a bright, shining star out there.
And to be able to emulate what the authority is representing. So
Are you
hopefully.
gunning for his job?
Absolutely
Tell
not.
the truth.
No.
Is he in training? Is he in driver's training? To
He's
drive
in
the
driver's
bus?
training.
To
yeah.
drive the
Driver's
bus?
training.
To
Yes.
drive the big bus?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, because that's a very difficult thing to do, is to
It is.
recruit people. Now, I've seen, and the reason that I called you guys is because I've seen the plea. I've seen people, saying, we really want people to come and be on the bus. I think I actually might have seen it in Bill Hollander's newsletter for some reason.
Yeah.
Our council person who's so awesome, Bill Hollander.
Yeah, Bill's been very helpful and very supportive. This is the first time in my career where we have looked at cutting service simply because we do not have enough operators.
That's terrible.
It is.
We think we get a bit of a hiatus here in the summer because there's not as many buses out there, so there's fewer drivers who are needed. So that'll give us somewhat of a buffer. We've just hired 5, just graduated 5.
Graduated
From
5
our
from
class.
training.
So, the issue then becomes is we've got to keep that sort of pace up and build ourselves up.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor. Unbutton your jackets.
Yeah.
Loosen the ties just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. all the way. Come on, Barry, you can do it. Just pretend like you're done with the day.
Ooh.
Isn't that what you guys do? Done with the day? Yeah?
No.
Loosen the tie. Come on.
No, I don't.
You can do it.
Yeah, no,
Not
you've
till
never,
You're
11
never
o'clock
done
at
it. Oh my God,
No.
that's terrible.
Not until you go
I need you to
home.
relax just a little bit because it's almost quitting time. Come on, you can do just a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We gotta wake up and get some excitement going here. I'm starting to fall
civil rights
asleep.
people aren't watching.
No, they're not. Janice McDonald has tuned in, though. Thank you guys so much. So what we're talking about in this magnificent building, which I love, is I just have given these guys the rest of the day off. So they're pulling their ties down and they're opening their jackets up. We're talking with Barry Barker and Frederick Risco. They are the Ferdinand shoot.
Ferdinand.
Like Ferdinand the Bull.
Yes,
that wonderful movie. I love that. Ferdinand Risco. Kim's taking notes. She's going to put me in timeout after this is over with. Ferdinand. Well, see, what happened was Russell threw me a curveball at the last
Whistler
minute.
thing,
With the
yeah.
Whistler thing. So now I have no idea what your name is. But that's okay, because Barry and Ferdinand are here in this gorgeous Union Station building to talk to us about the desperate need for drivers of Tarc buses. And it sounds like a great paying job. I'd love to know more about the benefits. Who wants to take that? You could take the tie all the way off if you want to, Barry.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
See, I've got to keep up with him.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay.
No,
Go ahead.
it's great medical coverage, great retirement system.
Boy, that's important.
Ties into the state retirement. So it's really a nice set of benefits that folks get once they're into being full time. That 6 weeks that they're in training, they're getting the pay that they're going to get.
So that's full-time
starting
training, right?
That's full-time
40
training.
hours a week?
40. Yep.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And to give you an idea of the way that breaks down, is about a week of it is classroom, and another 5 weeks is then out driving a bus.
Oh my God. What do you learn in the classroom, Ferdinand?
Well, you go through our policies and procedures, sexual harassment prevention, EEO. We do defensive driving.
Sexual harassment is very important these days.
Sexual harassment prevention. We want
That's
to make
what
sure.
I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We are not training people.
Not
on how
training
to.
people
No.
to do. It says, what is the starting pay for someone over 15 years of experience? We're getting to that.
Yes.
We've already said it, actually, Steve. It's $17 an hour. And
$16.73.
close enough for government work, as they say.
Yes.
And great benefits, which we're talking about right now, Steve. So listen up. Go ahead.
And so in the classroom, policies and procedures, defensive driving, a lot about customer service, a lot about our customer base, who they are, and our expectations on how to treat them. And then we get out on the road. We really want them to be out and about in the different times of the day, bring about different driving conditions. So we really want them out learning how to operate the coach.
And if you think about it, what ends up happening, and what I tell drivers in every new class, is we're really hiring them to manage the bus.
Yeah, that's true.
They take that bus out of here, turn left or right. They're managing the bus. They're on their own. They're making the shots.
It's like their own little playground.
Unlike a situation where the boss is constantly looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have cameras on the buses?
absolutely.
So you can see the driver and the passengers?
No, we cannot see the driver.
Can't see the driver.
We do not feel a need to focus the camera on the driver and what the driver is doing every minute. But we do have cameras set up so that we capture what's happening external to the bus, front and back, and also what's in the bus.
That's important.
going
So
on?
do you want to take your jackets off now, or would you rather just put your ties back on?
I'd rather put my tie back on.
Are you uncomfortable?
Yes.
Do you feel uncomfortable?
Are you
Would you
really?
feel better if you took your jacket off?
No.
He's former Army.
Oh, put your tie back on. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right.
Ferdinand, I'm so mean. I want to know more about your military service. Fix your tie. Go ahead. It's all right.
Thank you.
We'll just let Barry sit here looking like a slob. It's okay now. You can fix your tie if you really feel the need to.
Nah,
or
I'm fine.
you can take your jacket
I'm
off.
fine.
You sure? You look handsome no matter what.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. There's
Oh.
absolutely no question.
we go.
Oh, thank God, he feels so much better. Okay, so you hired a guy out of the service,
Yeah.
That was a smart
Well,
decision.
no, he's done a few things since he got out of the Army.
but it doesn't matter. Once military, always military, right?
Yes.
So tell me about your service, and thank you for it.
Well, Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a former enlisted soldier and went back to college and got a commission and became a commissioned officer.
Awesome.
Yes.
Where's your service?
Fort Benning, Fort Stewart, Fort Sill in Oklahoma.
Cool. You made it all the way around then.
Yeah, had a few little
You had a
station
little
stops.
foreign.
Yeah, just for some exercises and some of those other things that
In the
we
desert?
did. Yes, once.
Well, wow. I'm glad that you're back from there.
Yes, thank you.
So, as you were traveling and as you got your commission, were you learning leadership skills in the military that you've now translated to your work here?
Absolutely.
What were
And
some of those?
It is leadership, exactly, and how to really be able to have some of those difficult conversations and to be able to problem solve are some of the big ones. And it's those transferable skills that we've partnered with Fort Knox
cool.
recently around the Senior Corporate Fellows Program. So we have 3 fellows that are transitioning soldiers who are soon to retire, and they're working with us for the next 8 weeks during their transition.
So they're going to come to work for you? Is
Yes.
that the idea? Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's fantastic.
Yep, so that's an opportunity for them to feel the corporate experience prior to transitioning. So it's a great program, and it's just, I think, a win for everyone.
That is phenomenal.
One of the things that we really practice around here, and our keywords for us are dignity and respect.
Oh yeah.
And you see these in a lot of places where, you know, the part of the you know, our vision and so forth. Here we keep them out, keep them fresh, and there's literally not a day that goes by where we don't talk about did we handle that situation? Did we treat that person with dignity, with respect?
So what happens when you do have a situation that you feel like something has happened that was not dignified or respectful? What's the process that you go through? If I had a complaint, say, about something that happened on a Tarc bus, what would I do?
Sure.
Well, I would call you directly.
And a lot of people do, frankly.
Yeah. So
Because you might as well start at the top and work your way down.
And we investigate what's happened and take a look at it and have conversations with folks, and if it requires some sort of action on our parts, we take it. You know, another part of what goes on is I'm a big believer is I've never fired anybody.
You've never fired anybody?
They fired themselves because by the time they get to that point,
Yeah.
you know, and still the conversation is I think you're going to prosper a little bit better someplace else.
and
Have
if
you
you're-
ever fired anybody, Ferdinand?
No, I have the same philosophy, and I think that's why our leadership styles match. But if you remember when we were talking about, you know, what are we looking for in operators, empathy was one of the words that Mr. Barker used, because if you can have the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, that's how you begin to know that dignity is a birthright.
Yeah.
And everyone deserves dignity and respect. So it's much more difficult to treat someone out of line
Yeah.
when you have that philosophy.
Does everybody call you Mr. Barker?
No, just him.
Just checking.
Just-
Do you call him Mr. Barker?
He's here.
Russell, do you call him Mr. Barker? I just was, it's the
Everybody
first thing
on
I
this
said when you
property
came
calls
in.
me Barry, except
Yeah,
for-
I said, hey, Barry, how you doing? So you're very respectful
Yes,
and
ma'am.
dignified.
It's the Army
Try to
stuff.
It's the Army thing. That's
It's
why
the
he
Army
had to put his tie back on.
Now-
How are you doing with the tie?
I'm doing
You're
fine.
perfectly
I forgot I had
comfortable?
one on. Now, if you've got people out there who
I do. I have quite a
Are-
few, actually. Ed Huckleberry from WHAS Radio is listening to us, as he frequently does. Diana Eads Mullins, Brenda Davidson, and Mike Wallingford. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in to Take It
they
from
get some
Tara
great
today.
background on this one.
I know. See, look at
Looking
that
the-
shot. Isn't that beautiful?
That's
Russell's
fabulous.
came up with that one all by himself.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
you can't
such a
get that to
beautiful-
do like a Hall of Mirrors thing where it bounces back and
Well,
forth.
no, but you see that cool little clip over the top of my phone?
Yeah.
That's a wide-angle lens.
Oh, wow.
And that's what made this shot
Oh, very
possible.
cool.
I know.
Very
It's
cool.
so high-tech.
It is.
But you know, if there's anybody out there who's saying this is these two guys are putting this on, there's no place that's like that. I would
Have a
tell
good
them
time
to
every
come
day.
come test us.
What's the work
Come try
environment here like? Do you feel warm and embraced every day when you come into Union Station?
Yeah, I think so. I
Are you
think
cuddly?
I'm certainly cuddly.
He's much more cuddly than I.
I don't know. You look like Ferdinand the Bull. You look pretty cuddly to me.
Sniffing daisies under the tree.
Sound more like Barry the Bear.
Barry the Bear and Ferdinand the Bull. What are you, Russell? All I can tell you is these two men have the most beautiful voices right here. They are boss jock. They should have been in radio in the 1960s or 70s. So, Kim, I haven't heard you talk enough yet to know, but Barry's just, your normal talk show host, but these guys are just like, raw.
I'd be more the news commentator.
Yeah, you're a commentator. You kind of look like one of those people that you see, the talking heads that are 24/7, constantly talking about the same thing every 5 minutes.
Oh, hey, thanks.
You're not going to do that here, though.
No.
We're going to talk about something different every 5 minutes. We're talking to Barry Barker and Ferdinand Risco, who I have named Frederick Whistler for some reason, and he's going to be talking to us more, and so is Barry, about hiring people to drive for Tarc, which is something that is really right now in desperate need of drivers, and it's got an opportunity for you to earn great pay, earn great benefits, and really do something nice for the community. And that's what I think is so good. Why have we not gone to a light rail transportation system, Barry?
It's called money and support.
I come from Portland, Oregon, and there's a bridge. There's a bridge over every street over the river, and there's a beautiful. One of my girlfriends from high school, who's an engineer, designed the light rail and built it.
The latest bridge that they've opened in Portland will carry light rail, it will carry streetcars, it carries buses, it carries bicycles and pedestrians. Now, what did I leave out of that list?
People?
Cars. It does not. There's not a car lane on that.
Good.
bus.
That's why Portland is awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible.
We need to catch up.
And Portland was the same size as Louisville is when they put in their first light rail line.
Isn't that amazing?
So
have you gone out there and kind of envisioned what Louisville could look like if you install? And would light rail be built with under the auspices of Tarc?
Well, we almost got to the point where I don't think people realize how close we got, but the bridges were being discussed at the same time.
Right.
And
isn't it funny how we talked about bridges for 30 years and then they built them all in like 3?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, ever since I came to Louisville from Portland, as a matter of fact, it was, we're going to build a downtown bridge, we're going to build an East End bridge, and then nobody did anything until all of a sudden they got just off their butts and started building bridges.
See, we had a fabulous alignment worked out that would have circled downtown, gone through the medical center, gone through roughly down Preston, and would have...
The light rail would have.
Right. Would have gone through the campus and would have, where the cabooses are now that people tailgate, that would have been one station. Then it would have cut over to the fairgrounds.
Oh my God, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it literally is everything in that corridor, everything that you'd want to access was connected.
And what was that going to cost us?
About $800 million.
That's nothing. That's pocket change.
Okay.
That's it.
Just leave your billfold right there.
So in comparison to what? I mean, so our alternative became, I guess, upping the range of Tarc, increasing ridership, establishing more routes. I mean, are you having to fill in the gap of not having the light rail?
Yeah, I mean, what we see on both the 2023, which is Broadway, and then the Dixie Preston, which is 18, Muhammad Ali. That
he knows all the numbers of the buses.
Every single one.
Damn, he's amazing.
Well, I try not to talk in terms of the numbers, but passengers know what the numbers are. People were trying to get on to be passengers.
Want to know the streets.
Want to know the streets. Where am I going?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But we've got situations out there where we've got standing loads in like 2, 3 in the afternoon. So we try to.
And when you say a standing load, you mean the bus is full.
The bus is full.
Yeah. Nobody else can get on it.
We've had those instances where they've had to wait for the next bus.
So you don't send a backup bus to pick up the excess? They just have to wait?
It'll depend. What we do is we'll assign another bus to that route.
I see.
So it's you know, you may miss it, but it's another 10 minutes to the next bus.
I
so
never
it's
feel like I'm
not
waiting
so
that
bad.
long. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, during the week, weekends is a little bit longer, or at night it may be a little bit longer, but I never feel like I'm waiting that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all. It's interesting.
You don't have to. You can talk. You can jump in.
Yeah.
I mean, you are gunning for his job. You might as well just go ahead and talk
No,
over
I'm
him a little
not.
bit. He's doing great, but you know. So let me fix this
One
just
of
right here.
one of
Here
the
we go.
things that
Oh, okay.
It's a little neater.
when you talk about light rail,
Yeah.
we're going to embark upon comprehensive operations analysis, where we're looking at this system in its totality, and are we doing the right things, and are we doing things right, and followed directly behind that is a long-range plan. And so we will ask the community, what do they think transit in Louisville, Kentucky should look like in the next 20 years?
How are you doing that? How are you asking the community?
There'll be a lot of public outreach, both in terms of
Like this, for instance.
personal media.
Yeah.
Exactly. And essentially, what we'll be doing is where two or more are gathered, right?
That's right.
That's right.
And we'll be there.
There,
and wanna
Barry
talk
is
to
in our
folks.
midst.
There he is. Anybody have a mustard seed in their pocket?
Exactly. For those of you who just tuned in to this biblical conversation, I'm Tara Bassett. You're watching Take It From Tara this afternoon on a beautiful Monday, and we are in Union Station, which is one of the most beautiful buildings, I think, in the city of Louisville. It was converted to the Tarc headquarters, Transit Authority of River City, and we have Ferdinand Risco with us and Barry Barker. And Barry has pulled his tie down because he's tired of the day and he wants it to be over with. So, Ferdinand, however, is former military. He cannot bear the thought, and I tried to get him to do it, of leaving his tie down. I even asked him if he wanted to take his jacket off, but he said no.
I pulled the tie down for a little bit.
You
just a
did. You were
couple of
very
minutes.
brave.
But then, but you didn't notice how badly he was starting to shake.
It was flop sweat. He looked like William Hurt in broadcast news. He almost slipped right out of the chair. Just sent him over the edge. But anyway,
boy.
so the streets, you just said something really important. You want the drivers who are coming in to get jobs here to know routes by the streets that they travel, as opposed to, I take the 15 until I catch up with the 18 or the 19 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And
this
then
is
they
a
come-
neighborhood kind of oriented job search.
Well, it's got to be, yeah.
Do people get to drive in their own neighborhoods? I mean, do you get to pick your
If
own
they-
route?
You pick your own route based on seniority. So so the driver who's been here the longest, right, goes first, and then it follows after that, depending upon whether I've got a higher seniority than you do.
Well, it's kind of like on the flight attendants on an airline, right? They get to pick their stuff.
Absolutely like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. It's fascinating to watch. You know,
Are people nice about it? I mean, do they gloat over the fact that they get better routes?
Oh, there's all kinds of, there's all kinds of high-fiving
Good
going on.
camaraderie. It's lots of camaraderie.
Are there lotteries that determine the ability to be able to pull your route? So where are the toughest routes to staff? I mean, where do people not want to drive?
Well, it's not so much that, it's the hours that they end up with.
Right. I'm
Okay.
just thinking the far reaches. I wouldn't want to drive out in the far reaches of our counties and
But
stuff.
some of the folks like that.
I guess they do.
know.
I'd be kind of scared.
I knew an operator at one time he was the most senior person at this transit authority where we both worked, and he would take the first bus out in the morning, which is at 4 a.m.
Yikes.
and he'd be through by 12 and go play golf all afternoon.
Well, now that sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
Definitely
and that's exactly
sounds like a
what he
plan.
wanted to do, and that's what he did, and he never bothered anybody, and he was one of the best folks going.
So I understand that what is happening right now and what you really want to happen is you want to have people come and apply for jobs
Yeah.
as bus drivers. And
Yes.
I think that you also have to realize that there are 1 million people right now who are out there looking for jobs, and they want exactly this and exactly that. They want all these specific things, and they feel like they have the right to say, this is what I want, this is what I'm willing to do. Well, you're offering a great wage.
Yes.
You're offering great benefits.
Yes.
How hard is it to find people to fill those shoes?
Well, we'll see. We're doing.
Is this the first big push you've ever had for drivers, Barry?
Well, this is bigger than any push we've had before.
Okay.
We have had those pushes, but this is the most concerted push that we're under.
So, Amos Martin, you know Amos Martin, the home builder, he's watching us tonight. Mickey Price is watching. Sheila Blair Ash, who's a fabulous radio personality here in town, is also watching us. Thank you guys for tuning in. And do any of you want to be Tarc bus drivers? We would love to have you come down to Union Station and audition for the role. You have to go through Barry first for the personality part of it, the miscongeniality part of the whole thing, and then Ferdinand is going to take you to the training course, and they're even talking about simulators now, but for the moment...
And there is no boot camp.
There's no boot camp?
No boot camp.
No?
Boot camp.
No.
I thought it was going to be so much fun.
Only as a part of our wellness program.
Yes.
So what is it like to sit in the seat of a bus? I mean, how much have you guys done to make bus driving ergonomically safe and sound that will not cause somebody's back to break after years of sitting in? I know there are some drivers that have been here for years because I've ridden with them.
Yeah.
Well, the whole bus is, every time we go out and buy them is a notch higher than the ones that are replacing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and certainly the driver's compartment, their workstation.
That is their workstation.
If you will, we keep constantly looking at that, and we go and talk to the experts. We talk to the drivers about what makes this work for you.
Yeah. And then we have, as a part of our benefit package, we have 3 on-site fitness centers.
Here?
Yes, we do.
How cool is that? Are they here in this building?
There's one down in our driver's operators lounge.
There's one up here, but this whole side is torn up at the moment.
But it's going to be there.
It'll be there.
That's where you guys are going to go to work out.
That's right.
Keep your girlish figures.
And as Ferdinand has said, we've got trainers that come in.
Oh, very nice. Personal trainers.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So we do yoga. We have chair massage Mondays on the first Mondays of the month. We have lots of good health and wellness. So we're very, very focused on our operators and making sure that we give them those
good
extras.
Proactivity there.
And the physical trainers also are available to give diet advice.
Oh, that's good. Nutrition is so important.
Yeah,
it is.
Because there's just so much you can do physically. If you're, at least they keep telling me that.
That's exactly right. You got to eat
get
right.
that bread out of your diet.
I've been told that by someone who should know that my major food groups are Nestle's Quick, Three Musketeers, and chocolate ice cream from Grater's. Those are my 3 food groups.
So do you put sprinkles in there as well?
A few chocolate sprinkles just for fun. Are you working out in the new workout centers, Kim?
I used to run on the 3rd floor.
Do you?
Sometimes I don't do the boot camps.
This is our human resources director for Tarc over here. Russell, how about you? You look like you're pretty fit.
If I had the time, I would.
Oh, there's no excuse. No excuses, mister. You better take the time now, or when you're our age, things are going to get tougher. Not saying anything. He's not. You and I are on the older spectrum.
Oh, okay.
How old are you? Do you mind me asking that question, Ferdinand?
No, I am 46.
Oh, gosh, he's a baby. I'm not going to ask you how old you are. Unless you want to tell me. Oh, really? Okay, so I'm like 10 years younger than you. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's 3 generations right here.
Increments of 10.
40s, 50s, and 60s, yeah. My sisters are a generation ahead of me. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 4 younger brothers.
4? Oh, you're the oldest. No wonder he's in charge.
All the time.
How about you, Ferdinand?
I'm the baby of the bunch. I have an older sister.
Yeah, I'm the baby of the bunch too, by 12 and 13 years.
Yeah.
We're in Union Station having fun with Barry Barker and Ferdinand Risco on Take It From Tara this afternoon. You can take it from Tara that you need to drive a bus. I mean, that's the key right there, is getting into Tarc and applying for and training for an opportunity to ride these beautiful buses and learn how to drive them and then take your passengers on. Now, let's get into the environmental aspects of bus driving, because I have a friend who gave up his car and he's ridden bikes for years or takes Tarc. His name is Kirk Candle, and they called him the bike guy. And so I always see people who are riding and they take their bikes and they put them up on the rack on the front of the bus.
Yep.
And, I'd love to talk to you about how you're promoting that environmentally friendly attitude.
Don't have to promote it.
Well,
literally from day one, that's been an incredible advantage. Literally, the best engineered piece of equipment I've ever seen on a bus is the bike rack, and the way it works, and the way the individual can just pull it down,
it's pretty
and the
cool.
way they go.
Doesn't take any time.
So that combination is pretty incredible, and as I said, literally we started off with 2-place bike racks. And very quickly we were looking around for 3-place bike racks because we didn't have the space to carry them.
Yeah, got a lot of people.
We were finding disappointed people at bus stops who had the 3rd bicycle or the 4th bicycle.
Go ahead. You're waiting, Ferdinand.
Yeah, and even we have an electric fleet of buses as well.
I like
talking
that.
about environmental.
How does that thing work? How does it charge when you pull underneath that deal? What is it actually doing?
It slides under a big contactor and it recharges
so
the batteries. So
the thing that sticks up in the back is in charge, like plugging in your phone to charge it.
Charger.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big battery charger.
That's really cool.
That's exactly what it is.
I like that. So how many buses are there in the fleet?
15 all
That
electric.
have electric, and how many total?
226 in the entire fleet.
So
plus,
you're moving in the right
Might
direction.
be 227.
Okay.
Plus 107 paratransit vehicles.
The Tarc 3.
Oh, the Tarc 3s,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I work at Bridgehaven Mental Health Services, so a lot of the people who come to Bridgehaven actually utilize Tarc 3. And
Yes.
yeah, and I like the fact also that you guys have, well, you have to have it obviously, but you have a very positive attitude amongst the drivers for people who need accessibility.
Great.
Oh,
and
that's
I know
good to
that
hear.
a lot
Great,
of
thank you.
and a lot of people complain, oh, it's taking so long to drop the platform and get the person on the bus. That's not what your drivers do. Your
Great.
drivers are cool. They're very professional. I've seen it happen again and again. I've ridden it when it's been happening. So
That's good to know.
congratulations on
Thank you.
that.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that.
I always share good things.
We have the largest fleet of all-electric buses east of the California-Nevada border.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yes, we
He
do.
says it with pride, and he shakes his head and gives me a big smile. I like that. The California-Nevada border.
Yep.
They're a little different in California. So.
Everything's electric in California.
Exactly.
In California, they say that west of the Ohio River.
That's exactly right. I love that. So when you have a fleet of buses, 200 plus buses, 227 as Barry said, 226 if we're going by Ferdinand's numbers. What does it cost to maintain a fleet that size? I mean, what's your annual budget? This is no secret, so I'm not going to embarrass anybody. But
well, for the maintenance side of it is probably about 17, 18 million. The total budget for Tarc is just over 80 million.
okay, so 17 million going into maintenance and repair.
Yeah, and for that, what we're doing is carrying about 41,000 people a day.
41,000 people a day?
41,000 taxpayers in and out of job nodes every day.
That's shocking. I had no idea that many people were riding the bus, and
Yeah,
it seems like more could ride it.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Sure. And the stories that come back from the drivers, from passengers, are incredible. I mean, we just had a situation. Woman was visiting from England,
Yes.
and someone sitting behind her was able to grab her wallet, took all of the stuff out of the wallet, left it laying on the ground, started to went and got off the bus. Now another passenger knew him, called him, knew the thief, called him and got him to dump the contents into a mailbox. The driver was a former postal employee.
I thought you were going to say Navy SEAL.
Well, it gets close. So what she did is she called her supervisor, former supervisor over at the post office, got them to come out. They unlocked the mailbox, and she had all of her stuff, less her money.
Can you believe
At which
that?
point the driver went to an ATM machine, took out some money, and gave it to the woman.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
Has that driver been rewarded
Yeah,
satisfactorily?
absolutely. We gave her money back.
Oh, that's so sweet. I think she needs more. I think she needs a cake and a
No,
marching band.
No, we're
I'm
not
sure you
through
did.
honoring her
I'm
yet.
sure you did. Did she get on the news?
Not that I'm aware
Well,
of.
where is she? Is she here today? Is she working? Is she driving a bus right now?
Yeah.
She's out driving.
What's her name? Let's give her a shout out.
What's her name?
Think real hard. What?
Bobby.
Hunt.
Bobby.
Bobby
Hunt.
Bobby Hunt, thank you so much for what you did. That was above and beyond, and we are very proud of you, and we thank you. And that's exemplary.
That was the more important
Yeah.
Oh, she got her visa back?
Wow.
You know how you panic when something like that happens? Well, you know, if I lose
Stranger
a
in a strange
phone,
land, right?
if I lose a phone, I go nuts.
Yeah.
I feel like my right arm has been cut off. But to lose your wallet, and I did that too. I lost my wallet for, I think, the first time in my life about 5 years ago, and I was truly in a panic. So that was something that Bobby did that saved a lot of pain for that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job.
Very proud.
So no, we honored her at our last board meeting.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Good for you, Barry. Are you comfortable still with your tie? You okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's.
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure this stays behind there so people don't think that you're getting too loosey-goosey.
Okay.
I asked him to loosen his tie just so he could breathe a little bit better because, you know, it's a tough job to sit for an hour on a day like this. You know, you want to be
I
outside
thought we were
with your
doing
dogs.
this for 15 minutes.
I know. Well, let's see. Let's see what time it is. It's 4:47. You've only got about 12 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
You're doing pretty well. And I want to recognize some of our listeners who are viewers, I should say. Besides Sheila Blair Ash, who was the last one, we appreciate that. Mickey and Diana Mullins. So I'm so glad to see you on here. This is wonderful. When you are watching this show, realize that it's archived forever. So you will be able to watch it later, or you can share it later if you know somebody who might be interested in a job driving a Tarc bus, or if you just want to share it with people who would like to see me torture Barry Barker and Ferdinand Risco, which is, you know, you can blame that man right there, Russell Goodwin, for setting this up. I asked him and he said yes, and then he told me he was going to put the two of you on the firing line, and notice he's sitting back there safe behind the camera. What does he do for a living anyway?
We're not sure.
Does he have a real job here? Or does he just put people in the firing line?
We notice he wanders around a lot.
He's really cute and nice. He's a very sweet man.
He's our very able director of marketing.
He's a director of marketing. Okay. Well, he
And
told me that
public
he
relations
keeps an eye out on the media, so that's why he has to keep an eye on me. Kim, our wonderful human resources director. And is that Lynn standing behind you? Oh, good. Lynn Hundley is with us for today's interview that's following up with Barry and Ferdinand. We're going to talk about stroke. And my friend Iffy Whitfill had a stroke at a young age, and she's shared with me that, you know, the things that happened to her after having the stroke inextricably changed her life. And I would have never known. Because she's beautiful, she's active, you're going to see when she walks in, you're going to go, oh my God, she's a supermodel, because she really is. And Nancy is on the Kentucky Stroke Association Board of Directors, and I am told from Norton's Hospital, and I am told, Lynn, why did I say Nancy? Are you Nancy? No, you're Kim. Are you Nancy? No, you're, okay.
Now, Lynn,
sorry, Lynn.
now,
and
Lynn,
you work for Norton. But I am having a stroke, obviously, little TIAs all the time. Are you a stroke expert? Yes, she is. Okay. Have you had a stroke?
No, ma'am. Not that I'm aware.
You?
I hope not.
No? None of us have had a stroke. However, it is the #1 disabler of people.
Wow.
Am I correct in that statement? Yes. And it's the 5th leading cause of death? See, I did my research.
Lynn, you'll have to understand how
That's Nancy. No. What were you saying, Barry? I'm sorry.
And I'm Larry, so it's good to...
You kind of do look like Larry. What was that guy who did the
Larry
Arrested
David.
Development? Yes, that's who you remind me of, Larry
Thanks.
David.
I still have hair. He doesn't.
True.
I was going to ask
But Lynn, really, to show you how egocentric I can get, I thought you were a distraught passenger waiting around for this. And
It's all about
and
you, Barry.
My only salvation was, well, she can't be that irritated if she just interrupt this whole thing.
I want my change back. What does it cost to ride the bus today?
$1.75.
So do you have to pay in quarters, or can you give $1, or can you
We'll
do
take
credit
it
cards?
any way you want.
So you can do credit cards now? No
but
credit cards yet?
We do have, you can purchase tickets. There's a monthly pass. We are in the final stages of testing a new fare collection system that would use a tap card.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it'd be very much like a
Square.
debit card.
Those square things are awesome.
It looks like a credit card.
Yeah.
You just come up and
Tap and go.
it.
It's kind of like MARTA in Atlanta. Have you done that and studied
exactly
the
it.
trains? Yeah, you just
That's
pop,
where-
pop
I
it on
actually
there.
used to work in MARTA just before arriving here at Tarc.
Did you?
You stole him from MARTA.
You stole him? Oh, that's so bad. I love MARTA. I used to fly down there all the time because my parents used to live there. And so I'd fly into the airport, hop on the MARTA, go all the way to North Springs.
Yep.
They would pick me up and drive the 15 minutes to their house. And they keep expanding that too. So I'm thinking about expanding Tarc. What are the processes through which you add routes or subtract routes? What do you have to determine?
Suggestions.
Yeah?
And as Ferdinand talked earlier with our comprehensive operational analysis and with our long-range plan, now is the ideal time. You know, we listen to people 24/7.
How do we communicate with you?
Hopefully we're going to be communicating with folks, but we do have a website that's ridetarc.org.
Ridetarc.org.
Right.
Okay. And you can also, if you'd like, make notes here on the Take It From Tara page for our live cast, and then we will pass along any of that information to you. And after we're done, Russell probably knows this. Are you watching us on your phone by any chance? Cool. So you can share this to your page, and everybody who looks at Tarc's page can see how awesome Barry and Ferdinand are for putting up with me. I mean, there she is, ladies and gentlemen. That's Iffy Whitfield. Did I
Hello.
tell you she looks like a supermodel? It's because she is a supermodel. You're not going to believe it. Well, I mean, seriously. So she's fantastic.
She said that without you being here.
I did.
So
I really did.
it must be true.
The shoes are supermodel shoes. So we're talking about getting hired as a driver, but we've also talked about the environmental friendliness of riding Tarc buses, and we've talked about your input, which is so essential to service in a customer-oriented business like Tarc. And you're welcome to go to the website ridetarc.org and find out more and give your input about what you would like to see, whether you'd like a route added or a route taken away, or whether you'd like better times for the buses that you like to take. What's the most popular route in the city?
It's probably 4th Street or Broadway or Muhammad Ali.
Okay,
Yeah.
those are the busiest ones.
Yeah.
How about outgoing? When you're going out into the counties, are they busier going north, south, east, west? Where's the most traffic going to?
It's probably west,
Going
followed
west.
by south. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. The major concentration of service is between downtown and the West End, followed by the 4th Street corridor.
So you were talking earlier about the demographic, Ferdinand, when you were talking about identifying your ridership. Who are the primary riders?
The beauty is that our service and our riders look like the entire community, which is great. And so we're reflective of all of our communities, and we're hoping that a whole lot more join us and become customers.
What's the typical age range of people who like to ride the bus?
Well, it tends to be younger and older than the population as a whole. And my son used to ride the bus, and he'd come home and he'd tell me about what had happened, and he knew exactly what bus needed to be where or when. I mean, he had it down. And then folks at the older end of the spectrum, losing the ability to drive or
Yes.
what have you,
Yes.
will get around.
Sure.
You know, you've talked about the environmental impact.
Yes.
The critical impact is really, and we do a lot of work on this, is improving quality of life for folks.
Sure.
And just to give you a quick example, we did a study with Jefferson Community and Technical College, where 200 people had first come, first serve, had a semester's worth of free passes.
Sweet.
And JCTC came back to them after the end of the school year, start of the next year, twice the retention, twice the graduation rate of
That's amazing.
of the student population in general.
That's amazing.
So it really had a positive effect.
Big impact.
Yeah,
I like that.
So you have the economics,
Yep.
the savings,
Yep.
you have the environmental. For students, you have an increased student achievement. There's just no reason why we can't continue to grow ridership.
Gant Hill is watching. He's a prime realtor in Louisville. We thank you so much for tuning in to see what we're talking about today, which is this fabulous place that is housing Tarc, Union Station, one of the best sites that I've ever set up a Take It From Tara, and the inestimable Barry Barker, and the incredibly cuddly Ferdinand Risco.
Was that a good thing she
That was
said
a good
about
one.
me?
That was
Yes,
good.
inestimable is a very good thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And even if he has problems keeping his tie up until the end of the business day, I mean, seriously, we got to talk to this guy about professional dress. It's gotten out of
Snickered
hand.
once again.
I asked them to loosen their ties just to kind of loosen up the conversation a little bit earlier on. But military men, did you serve?
No.
Okay, well, military men over there. I come from World War II parents. I'm sure you had family in the military ahead of you, and
Well, I was born in England. So
Were you?
So my family lived through World War II. In
wow,
England.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, through the Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, through all
That
of
must have been amazing. I'm very glad that you're here and not in England. And I'm very glad that
So am I.
you're running Tarc, and I'm very glad that you're gunning for his job.
Him.
And I'm very glad that Kim is a great human
For the
resources
record,
director.
I am not
and
gunning for his job.
oh, he's so full of it. And Russell Goodwin, thank you so much for hooking us up so that we are able to have this wonderful conversation. Next time, I would like to go on the training with you
Done.
on a closed course farther than 3 feet so I can do my little wheelies around wherever
can
we
do
go.
that.
I would like to do that, and I would very much like, if you get the simulator in, I'd like to try the simulator. And I'll think of all the other things I want to do, because now that I've got him,
Okay.
thank you, Barry. It's great
Thank
to see you.
you.
Appreciate you.
Really, it was
Thank you,
wonderful.
Ferdinand.
Thank
You're
you so
wonderful
much.
too. I appreciate you guys. So what we're going to do now is a little quick switch out, as we do between hours on Take It From Tara. And I'm going to throw these two off the set without their mics, and I'm going to bring these two lovely ladies in to replace them and hang around. We've got another full hour.